super
Mm-hmm.
specific. All I'm trying to say is I think the only
Mm-hmm.
defense for what we were talking about is if you take the girl to be an adult, like a biological adult. I think that's the only like proper defense. I'm not claiming that Muhammad is a
Mm-hmm.
pedophile. I'm not claiming that people who follow Islam follow pedophiles. It's not the claim at
Mm-hmm.
all.
I
Just
don't
to be
believe
clear.
in that claim. So just to be clear on this, I think the word adult is a nebulous concept. It's a nebulous word insofar as there are different definitions. Now I'm going to ask you this one question, just like a yes or no question. When you're using the word adult in the context of this conversation, are you talking about adults given the conventional scholastic definition?
Uh, I don't know what you mean by the conventional scholastic definition. Like I'm
I'll
just
post it
typically
right now.
talking
So this
about
is the
somebody.
conventional
So like,
definition, by the way, of what an adult actually is.
wait, girl. So
So
right.
if you
So
check,
I'm
I'll
just
just read
so
it out for
what
you,
I
by the way.
what I specifically meant.
An
I mean,
adult in the dictionary.
I could tell you what I specifically meant. I'm the one who made the claim. See, I'm
Okay,
just
tell
like
me.
I understand that like there's like a debate over should adult be like 18 plus, 21 plus, 25 plus. I think we can like there's like
Okay.
some room to debate over what it should be. I think most certainly it's not 9. So I'm looking for 18 plus, but like very obviously if the age is 9 biologically, I think that's so far apart that nitpicking about the gray areas of what adulthood is isn't even relevant anymore. It's just so obviously beneath
Well, no
it.
one is making the claim that 9 years old qualifies as an adult, right? I'm not making that claim. What I'm telling you here is simply that, just to be clear, you cannot use the definition of an adult based off the Oxford Dictionary definition, because given that definition, then you'd have to say an 18-year-old boy, for example, is going to be a victim if he was to have sex with a 21-year-old girl. And that's
Yeah, I
an
understand
idiotic
that.
claim to
I'm
me.
just I
Yeah.
understand that. I'm just
So
saying that quibbling. I'm
you're
just
not
saying
really
that
making it
quibbling
clear what the
the
definition
exact
is. So just repeat the
quibbling over
definition
the
thing.
quibbling over the
Mm-hmm.
exact specifics of the definition, where the exact cutoff point is like okay if we're talking about a 17-year-old or 18-year-old or
I'm
a
not even
19-year-old
asking for
we're
that.
close. But I'm
I'm
just
not
saying
asking
that
for the age. I'm not asking for the cutoff point. I'm asking
I'm
for like
just
a
saying that
definition. Yeah.
like that's fine. I'm
Mm-hmm.
just saying that as long as we understand that there is no world essentially in which a biological 9-year-old would ever qualify for any real or meaningful or appropriate definition of adulthood. That's all that I think is relevant because I think
Look,
it's
I can
pretty obvious.
still mend that point,
Like,
and we
well,
still not attack the religion.
hold on.
Mm-hmm.
Let's find common ground. I'm sure you would agree with me. Like in no world, in no definition, under anyone's reasonable view, would a 9-year-old qualify for any
Yeah,
sense
given
of
the
adult.
conventional definition, definitely not. But that's not going to be attacking the Islamic position, anyways.
We're
I'm
not
not.
okay. Not
I think the conventional. Give
okay.
me 1 second. Hold on, 1 second. I would
Go
like
for
to
it. Go for it.
mention
Go
and
for it.
make it really clear that given the conventional definition, it would not be the case, of course, that Aisha, sorry, if Aisha was to be 9 years old, given how we record ages currently, she would in fact be an adult. That's something we can shake hands on. We can also
Yeah,
shake
I
hands on the
understand that
point with respect to the idea that,
it starts
well,
at
real quick,
puberty,
one more
right?
point, one more point, one more point. I would like
Yeah,
to
go for it.
say that with respect to what an adult actually is, as I've told you previously, it's a nebulous concept. Now, usually, how people try to hash out the definitions of an adult is by using the scholastic definition of what an adult actually is, which is based on biology, which would have reductios or absurd consequences, like, for example, an 18-year-old not being an adult. Or they would give the legal definition. They would legally define it. So they would define an adult based off the age of minority
I
and the
just
age of
don't see the
majority
relevancy.
distinction.
I don't understand the
The
relevancy of any
relevancy
of it.
is very
I know you
important.
brought
The
up. I
relevancy,
already know.
relevant
Okay.
point. Hold on. The relevancy of this point is you mentioning that the only way in which I can defend Aisha's marriage is by establishing if she's an adult or not. And I'm telling you here that it's either two ways by which we determine this. Number one, the way in which we determine this could be based off legalistic standards or definition. Or number two, the way in which we could determine this is based off conventional definitional standards, to which you agreed has absurd consequences.
Look, I just think if she's 18 plus, if it's your view that she's around 18 plus or older, then I think it's much more defensible. That's all. Like I'm literally trying to say. I know you brought up the idea that you begin counting age after puberty. If that's the case, then very obviously 9 does not literally mean the same thing as when we say 9 when we start counting from birth. So that's fine. So all of that, I don't want to have
Mhm.
a debate over should the age of consent or should adulthood be considered 18 or 21 or 25. That's not very interesting. Again, all I claim is that if you hold the position that Aisha is even remotely in the age vicinity of being biologically 9 years old, completely indefensible, and no amount
I
of
don't.
it was
Firstly,
stated
I
to
don't
be.
hold
But
that position, and secondly, I'm criticizing your standard by which
let me
you're
go to
telling
school.
me that my claim is defensible. Hold on, real quickly. I'd like to criticize your standard. I'm saying your standard when you're telling me here that the only way in which anyone could defend this marriage is by establishing that they're an adult. That's incorrect. In fact, that's a bad standard. The way in which you
What?
defend
Why?
marriages, I'll explain to you. I will explain to you as to why it's a bad standard. Actually, the reason as to why it's a bad standard is primarily because adulthood, right, given how it's being cashed out, would have absurd consequences on either part of the spectrum. You have a legalistic account of how someone determines someone being an adult, or a biological account. We both agreed that the biological account, given the gray area, has ridiculous consequences. The legalistic account, however, is going to
But
also have. Hold on, real
wait, like
quickly. The
what?
legalistic.
I'm starting to wonder, like what? Like, because when you say that we agree it has like
What's up?
absurd consequences, I don't know if you mean that in the same way I mean. So, like, what do you actually think?
Of course
I'm
it does.
including.
So, for example, given your definition, an
That's not
18-year-old
what I asked.
adult, given your definition, I'll explain to you as to why, as to how it has absurd consequences, and explain what I mean by this. So,
Okay.
one example which perfectly explicates on this is, for instance, an 18-year-old adult guy, for example, under your definition, would be a victim, and you don't believe that.
A
That's a
victim to who
retarded
and what?
position to make.
A victim to who or what? Like, this is why I'm trying to ask
A
you for
victim
specifics.
to any
What do
person
you
who is
think?
older than that person who is engaging in a sexual relationship.
Why would that
That's
be an entailment
your
to my
position,
position?
dude.
Wait,
That's
do
retarded.
you think my position is anybody who's older than someone who's not very obvious an adult is a victim? Do you think I think
I'm
that
saying,
18 and
given the
17 is
biological spectrum definition, which is the conventional one, yes, that would be
wait,
the case. Unless you want to use a
hold on,
different
wait,
definition.
hold on. Even by virtue of you saying spectrum, it's not black and white, it's a spectrum. You acknowledge that. We would acknowledge the nuances that an 18-year-old is not raping a 17-year-old
Of
because there's a
respectfully,
1 year
that's
age
not
gap.
addressing
And
my
some
argument.
people, no, respectfully, I would like you to allow me to finish talking, like I let you.
You have been interrupting me the entire time,
Okay.
by the way.
With like clarifying
But
questions, but
continue.
then I let you continue just because like you typically say
Continue,
something
go
that
for
I'm
it.
not sure how
Finish
it's
it.
relevant. Okay, that's fine. And if you feel like I'm being rude, my apologies. I'm not trying to do that. But to be clear, when you acknowledge that it's a spectrum, I understand that there's
Mm-hmm.
like little nuances in is 18 an adult, is 21 an adult. Nobody is saying that like an 18-year-old is victimizing a 17-year-old because even if you were to consider one of them not an adult, we would understand like the discrepancy. It's just not that huge. We're talking very obviously about if somebody were to think that this individual, I believe her name's Aisha. I apologize if
That's a
I'm fucking up the
contradiction.
pronunciation. If it
Yeah,
if it's
that's
like a
just a
9-year-old
contradiction in
or
your own
anywhere
standards
within the
because now,
anywhere with that's hold on, to be clear, it's not a contradiction. If it's a
yes,
9-year-old
it's a blatant
anywhere any
contradiction.
vicinity of a 9-year-old, then this man who's decades older than her, of course that's a different context. Of course that's going to be
Yeah, so
considered.
so here's the blatant contradiction, right? So the blatant contradiction is you saying originally that the only way in which I can defend this actual relationship and so forth, the ethics of this is concerned, is by establishing that the person or the persons participating in the relationship would be adults, right? For more specifically, Aisha. Now you're saying, oh, that's not necessary, but you can defend this in another way. That other way being, you can establish that Aisha, or rather, there's not a huge age discrepancy. So the first standard was establishing adulthood. Now you're moving the goalpost from that standard to saying that, oh, well, if there's not a large age discrepancy, then it's okay. So that's a
That's
blatant
actually not
contradiction.
true.
Originally, you were saying that this is required, and now you agree that it is not actually required
That's
to
actually not
establish
true.
adult. That's a
No,
correct assessment of the point, by the
hold
way.
on. Hold on,
What's
that's
that?
actually not true. My claim was not like in general, the only way for a sexual romantic relationship to be ethical is if it's unequivocally two adults participating. Because again, nobody thinks that an 18-year-old and a 17-year-old having some sort of intercourse is predatory. Or nobody thinks like let's say adulthood is 21 in their mind, but a 21-year-old and a 20 or 19-year-old, nobody thinks that's rape. I set that standard specifically for
Your
this
definition
relationship.
would entail that.
Hold
Your
on,
definition would entail that.
I set this standard
Yeah.
specifically for this relationship, not in general, because this relationship is a difference in decades in terms of years. So we're no longer talking about gray areas where even though somebody's not an adult, they're still within like the like biological maturity or age vicinity where it's okay. We're
So you
talking about
don't have a
not an
universal
adult.
standard by
If
which
this
you
person's
determine.
a
You don't have
9-year-old,
a universally logically consistent standard by which you determine the morality of
it's
sexual
I
relationships.
I think you can look at things case by case and say in this context it's appropriate, in this context it's not. Of course.
Okay, so you don't have a universal standard. Gotcha, cool. So I just want to get another thing clear on
Wait,
the
what,
table, right?
is
So
that supposed to
with
be a
respect,
criticism? Okay,
hold on. I just
what?
had to establish whether
To
or
be
not
clear,
to be a
that's not
universal
even. I
standard.
didn't.
You
Hold
said
on.
no,
To
you
be
don't.
clear, I didn't say I don't have a universal standard. But even that
Of course you
withstanding,
don't. You said
to
specifically
be?
that
Is that
this would
Are you?
be
Is that
with
supposed to be?
respect
What's
to
the
this
criticism?
context and not to all context, right? You
Wait.
did not say
Can you
this?
just tell me? Can you just explain clearly what's the criticism that I don't think 18 and 17 is rape, but I would consider like 50 and 9 rape? Like, what is the
I'm not
criticism there?
denying that claim, Forks. You're not track what's going on here. I'm telling you here specifically that's you saying that your standard that you've established in the chat as a context specific standard with respect to the Aisha marriage is you agreeing that it is not going to be something which universally applies to all case scenarios.
Yeah, because this is
It's not
not
a
a
universally
universal
consistent
scenario.
standard.
This would be a pretty freakish
Okay, but
scenario.
you that was not a
universal no.
universally consistent standard, correct? You agree with this, right?
I don't think it's
Yes or
inconsistent.
no?
Wait, what's the inconsistency?
The inconsistency, if you were to apply the standard universally to determine the ethics of relationships, is that a 17-year-old would be a victim in a case where it's even 18-year-old and a 17-year-old dating. And
No,
you
I think a
disagreed that
17-year-old.
they would
Yeah,
not
I
be a
think
victim. Yes,
no, that's
because a
not true.
17-year-old by
Are you really
definition
not
would not
tracking
be an
it?
adult.
Are you really not?
Because a
Okay.
17-year-old by
No,
definition would not be
the
an
standard
adult.
is that a 17-year-old will be a victim to a 50-year-old because at a certain point, once you cross a threshold, when you're a fucking mega adult with decades of years of experience, decades of years worth of biology
Would an
over the person you're
18-year-old be a
victimizing,
victim or
or a
no?
16, 17-year-old, yeah, I think that you're entering victim territory. Yeah. Like
Wait,
I
would
don't
an
understand what's the
18-year-old be a victim or
inconsistency.
no?
So I do think at a certain point, would an 18-year-old be a victim? I'm
Yeah.
not sure.
So
Honestly,
you're not
I'd
sure
probably
if an
say yeah. I'd
18 wait,
probably
hold
say
on. You're
yeah.
not sure
Honestly,
if
I'd
an
probably say
18-year-old hold on real
honestly, I'd
quickly.
probably
Let me ask
say
the question, right? Because you're
honestly,
running.
I'd probably
You're
say
running for
yeah.
the question, right? So I'm gonna ask you, you're not sure if an 18-year-old would be a victim, but you're sure that
No, I
someone who is
yeah.
17
I
years
just
old
think
and
about it. So I said yes.
364 days old would be a
Everybody in
victim?
call heard me say yes, Apollo. Everybody in call heard me say,
So
you
the
know what?
answer
Yeah,
is
it
yes.
would.
You're sure that a 17 years old person who is going to be, let's say the person is 17 years old and 360 days old. That
Oh
person
my
you're sure is
God,
a victim, but
Apollo.
you're not
I
sure if
truly
an
hope you
18
don't want to
years old
fuck
would be, you're
18-year-olds
not
when you're
sure if an
50.
18-year-old would be a victim.
Apollo, you don't need to justify why when you're 50 you want to fuck 18-year-olds, okay? Look, I think that if you're
I'm
a
not trying to
40,
justify
50,
that. I'm trying to
60-year-old,
point out that
okay,
your
then
standard literally makes it look retarded right now because now you're
what is
agreeing that
why do you
given
think
your
it's
standard,
retarded that you wouldn't want
17-year-old or 18-year-old would actually be victims because they're not even adults.
to a
Even an
50-year-old? Yeah,
18-year-old would be a victim
if
given your own
you're waiting for
definition. That's
somebody to
retarded.
graduate, if you're waiting for somebody to
Do you even know
graduate
the
high
point you've
school,
been on right now of the
if you're
conversation? I'm
staring at the
telling you
fucking
here
birthday
that
clock,
given your
if you're
standard,
staring
you
at
have
the
said
birthday clock
specifically
waiting for them
that
to turn 50, I think you're a fucking freak. I think you're a
determines
fucking
the ethics of
pedophile. Yeah.
these
I think you're
relationships
a fucking
would
perverted
specifically
pedophile freak
be
if you're
them
waiting for
being
these
an
niggas to
adult. I'm
graduate
telling you here that
and
that's a
hanging outside
retarded
of their
definition
school.
because
If
given that
you're
own
hanging
definition,
outside of their
you'd
school
either have to agree
waiting
that
for
with the
their
legalistic
graduation day,
standard
Apollo,
or the
yeah, you're a
biological
fucking
standard, both of
pedophile.
which
Like, what are you
has
talking
ridiculous
about?
consequences.
Do you think it's
An
ridiculous
18-year-old
to call somebody a
biologically is not an
pedophile
adult, you
for hanging
retard.
outside of schools, waiting for these kids to graduate? Like, oh, the timer turned for them to be
My
18.
God,
I'm a
that
56-year-old
5
man. Let
megabyte
me go
storage bin
swoop
just
in.
cannot track
Let
the
me go swoop
conversation. My
in and
God,
have
dude.
sex with this
I'm
person
telling
who's
you
my
here that
granddaughter's
given your
age.
definition,
You don't think
an
it's predatory to
18-year-old
have
would
sex with
also
people
be
who
a
are your
victim.
granddaughter's age, Apollo? You don't think it's predatory to have sex with somebody who's your
Folks, are
granddaughter's
you done
age?
sharing the boxing? I'm going to wait until they actually address the point.
I'm just so
Do you even
curious
know what point
because
you're even on right
you
now?
went on this whole little tangent. Look, I was being polite
Do
to
you
you,
need
but
a
you went on
dial
this
school
whole little
GPS to
tangent
trace you
about
back
how
on
it's a
track of the conversation?
ridiculous standard, how I'm being hypocritical, or I'm
Yeah,
contradicting
your
myself.
standard entails contradictions.
It's a completely
You don't
reasonable.
think an 18-year-old is a victim, but given the definitions for the adults, they would be a victim because they're not fully grown. You
To a
dumbass.
50,
That's a
60-year-old. Yeah,
retarded
I do think they
position.
could be. I do think they could be victimized by a 50, 60-year-old because they're 18. Nobody thinks
We're
that's
not
retarded
talking
but
about the
you.
possibility of them being
Nobody thinks that's
victimized,
retarded
folks. We're
but you,
talking about
Apollo.
whether or not they would, in fact, be victims given the biological facts. Given your definition, they would be
Yes, given
victims
the
because they're not
biological fact,
adults.
somebody with 30, 40 years advantageous on you when you're
That's
just
another
somebody
non-point,
high
folks. That's
school
another
age,
non-point. That's a
that's going to
low-tier
be
objection.
a
That's a
fucking
low-tier objection.
chemistry room for
And
concocting
look at
some
him
sort of
just keep on
predatory
ranting. He's just
scenario.
ranting
Of
off on
course
different
it is.
points, which has no relevancy
Okay.
to the actual objection I'm
So
making here.
okay, so
Folks,
like
I'm
let's
telling you here that
yeah,
you
go for it, go for
agree
it.
that an 18-year-old is an adult and they're not a victim. However, given the actual facts, they would not be an adult. So
I
given your
didn't
own
agree to
position,
that at
they will be
all.
a
I didn't
victim.
agree to that at
Yes,
all.
you
Wait,
did
no,
because you said an
if we have the
18-year-old is not a
recording bot in
victim, you
here, we
dumbass. What are
literally
you
have the
talking
recording bot in
about?
here. Why would you lie about shit
You
when we
said they're
have the
not a
recording bot?
victim. I
So
asked you
somebody
explicitly,
pull the
are they a
recording bot.
victim? You said
Somebody
no, they're
pull the
not a
recording bot.
victim.
Somebody pull the recording bot because I could tell you specifically
We
what I
can pull
said.
it
Let me pull
afterwards.
the
We can check on
recording.
it after the whole conversation's finished.
What I said was that in the context of a biological 9-year-old, I don't even care to have the conversation of is 18 an adult, is 21 an adult, is 25 an
Tell me
adult.
which age. Do you think
Biologically,
a
9 years old,
19-year-old would be a victim?
under
Yes or
no
no?
definition of adulthood would you ever
Would a
qualify.
19-year-old be an adult?
Nobody
Yes or
ever
no, folks?
agreed. Nobody
Yes or
ever
no?
agreed that
Answer
an
the question.
18 is a
Folks, stop
universal
dodging.
adult. It's not
Folks, stop
relevant to
running.
the discussion.
Stop
If
running.
you
Would a
think
19-year-old be an adult? Yes or
9 years
no?
old, the
A
girl was at
19-year-old,
19.
would they be an adult?
If you think the little girl was like 19,
Answer the
20, 21,
question.
etc.,
Yes or no?
different from
Answer the
thinking that
question.
she's
Yes or
9 years
no?
old.
Would
That
a
was my
19-year-old be
original
an adult? Stop
position.
dodging.
That was my original position. It
That's
had
the
nothing to
first
do with if
deflection
19
from the
is an
low tier.
adult.
Let's see from the
The
second try.
original
You might answer the
position
question.
was, oh,
Would a
Louis, if
19-year-old be an
you
adult?
think
Yes or no,
Aisha was
folks?
9 years old
Would
biologically,
a
no
19-year-old be an
defense
adult? Stop
whatsoever.
deflecting and answer the
That was
question.
the
Yes or
only
no?
claim. You're trying to
He
shift the
won't
conversation
answer the
away
question. Yes
entirely
or no? Would a
irrelevant to tangential
19-year-old be an
things
adult?
because you know that if you're
Would
not a
a
pedophile, you
19-year-old be an
agree with
adult?
that
Answer the
statement.
question, folks. Stop dodging. Stop running.
It's
It's a
not
yes or
relevant to
no
the original
question.
claim, you
Yes
fucking
or
retard.
no?
Is
Would
a
a
9-year-old an
9-year-old
adult?
be an
Is
adult?
a 9-year-old
Would
an
a
adult? Answer that
19-year-old
question.
be
Is
an
a
adult? Yes
9-year-old
or
an adult?
no?
Would a 9-year-old be
Would
an
a
adult? Would a
19-year-old be an
9-year-old
adult?
be an
Folks,
adult?
answer the
Would
question.
a
Answer the
9-year-old be an
goddamn
adult? Yes or
question. Would a
no? Would a
19-year-old be an
9-year-old
adult?
be an adult?
Would
Okay,
a
we're not gonna get anywhere because
19-year-old
you're
be an
acting like
adult?
a
Answer
fucking
the
retard.
question,
That's fine.
folks.
You can
Answer
act
the
like a
question,
retarded
folks. Stop
pedophile
dodging.
defender in call. That's
He's
fine. I
running
don't
for the
care. I don't
question.
give a
He's
fuck.
running
That's
for the
fine.
question. He doesn't know what he's
He's
talking about.
running
This
from
guy's
the
a
question.
lost
Look,
cause. He's lost to the conversation. Doesn't know what he's even talking about. So I'm going to ask you the question. I'm going to
sorry,
re-ask
Apollo, that
the
I don't
question.
think a
Would
9-year-old
a
is an adult.
19-year-old be an adult? Yes or no, folks?
Would a 9-year-old be an
Yes or
adult?
no?
Would a
One
9-year-old
word.
be an adult?
19-year-old. Answer the
What about
question.
9? Do you think a
That's
9-year-old would
another
be an adult?
dodge. Answer the question.
You said no. Obviously not.
Is this guy retarded? I'm asking you a very simple question and not even answer the question. Would a 19-year-old be an adult? Yes or no, folks?
Oh my God,
We
that
don't
was
care about
trivial
your rhetorical
position.
posture. What you care about
Okay,
instead is a direct answer
talk
to
to
my
me about
question. What's the
rhetorical
answer?
posture. You
Was
just
it a
went on a
yes
whole
or
little
no? Is it a yes or no, folks?
You're
Would a
the same moment
19-year-old be an adult,
unrecording a
folks? It's a very simple question. Answer the goddamn
your debate
question.
opponent was
Answer
probably
the
going to call
goddamn
you a
question. Would a
pedophile. So
19-year-old be an
I
adult?
guess this is why you're defending this shit, because this is just normal
Is it a
territory.
yes or no, folks? Would a 19-year-old be an
With
adult?
a 19-year-old, it's not relevant to the position. Who cares? Is
It
a
is
9-year-old
relevant.
an
It is
adult?
perfectly
Is a
relevant. He's
9-year-old an
dodging
adult
again.
at
That's the
all? Do
17th
you think a
dodge from the
9-year-old
low
little
here.
girl? Do you
Let's see
think
if
a
he's going to
9-year-old little
actually
girl would
answer
be
the
an
question
adult?
on the
Do
18th
you think a
try.
9-year-old
Would
little
a
girl would be an adult?
19-year-old
I'm
be an
pretty
adult? We're
sure a
doing an
9-year-old little
internal
girl
critique
be an
here.
adult.
We
Is
are
she an
doing an
adult?
internal critique towards your
All that
retarded
philosophy,
analysis of
and you don't know if a
determining
9-year-old's an
the
adult? All that
eligibility of
philosophy, all that
relationships.
studying,
Answer the
all
question.
that talking
Would a
down to Ariana,
19-year-old be an
all that
adult?
talking down to
Would a
Ariana, and you
19-year-old be an
can't tell
adult?
me if a
Would a
9-year-old's an adult.
19-year-old be an adult?
And that's
Look,
cool.
I'm going to
That's cool.
re-ask the question continuously until you answer the question. You're not going to dodge away. You're not going to run off the question, right? I'm going to
It's
ask you the
not
question.
explain the
Would a
relevance. Explain the
19-year-old
relevance.
be an adult?
Explain the
No,
relevance.
don't run.
Explain the
Don't run.
relevance, bitch.
Answer the question.
Explain the
Don't run.
relevance, bitch. Don't
Folks,
run from
you're
explaining
having
the
a
relevance.
typical
What's the
retard
relevance?
moment where you're dodging from the question
If
because you know your
19
position
is
is
an
fucked.
adult,
Alright,
if
so
what the
I'm going to
question
ask
is
you
if a
again. Would a
9-year-old is an adult.
19-year-old,
He's
folks, be an
9 years old
adult? Yes or
biologically.
no?
He's a fucking child,
Could
Apollo.
someone get the retard to answer the
19
question, please?
Whether or not we can argue
Yes or
19
no? I just want one word.
relevant,
I don't want a TED
9-year-old is an
talk. I
adult.
want a yes or no to my
A
question. Would a
9-year-old is not
19-year-old
an
be an
adult,
adult?
Apollo.
Would a
Obviously. You're a
19-year-old be
third
an
grade
adult?
classroom. Are you surrounded by
Would
adults?
a
If you walk into a
19-year-old be an
classroom,
adult?
you're surrounded by adults. If you walk into a third
Answer the
grade classroom,
question,
you're
dude.
surrounded by
Answer the
adults.
goddamn question.
If
Would a
you
19-year-old be an adult? He won't answer the question. So hold on. I'm going to ask the chat instead because Florks apparently cannot answer the question. So chat,
We all
I'm
know
going to type out the
19 is
question
an
and you guys
adult.
give a
We
response to
all
this.
know 19
Would a
is an adult. Ask you,
19-year-old
do you think a
be an
9-year-old is an
adult?
adult? Yes,
Yes
Apollo, a 19.
or
Everybody
no?
knows 19
Since
is an
Florks can't
adult.
answer the question, I'll
Everybody
ask the
knows
chat
19 is
instead.
an adult.
Yes or
9
no to the
years old
question,
is not
chat?
an adult, though. Everybody
The answer is,
understands
the
19
answer
is
is
an
pretty
adult.
obvious, by the way.
You understand everybody knows 19
He
is an
won't
adult.
answer the
Like, the reason
question.
I wasn't answering you is because it's not relevant. Because a 9 years old,
It is
Apollo,
perfectly
who
relevant.
gives
You
a
just
fuck?
don't want to address the relevant question because you know for a fact your position got messed up. And now you're in a double bind where you'd have to agree that your standard
What?
is
And
either going to
what?
be something which is
I what?
flawed
Explain
or you'd
how
have
the
to concede
position
to the
got fucked
position
up.
of the marriage being no
Explain how
carrying.
saying that a 19-year-old is an adult fucked up my
I just
position that a
explained several
9-year-old
different
is a
times. I'll
child,
explain
you
again.
fucking
Right,
retard.
given your
You think a
standard of what
19-year-old
determines,
being
hold
an
on, you're
adult
making
makes
the
a
claim here.
9-year-old a
You're
fucking
making the
child?
claim
You think
here.
that's a
You're making
retarded
the claim
statement?
here that the standard you've laid out in the chat, by the way, is universally consistent and is not context specific. If that was to be the case, you imbecile, you moron, then what follows from that given standard is going to be the case that now it's going to be the case that you're determining the eligibility or ethics of relationships on the basis of adulthood. Now we have two accounts of adulthood. You have the legalistic account, you have
Oh,
the biological account, both of which has ridiculous consequences,
does
folks.
either
What's so
account
hard for
say
you
a
to understand this
9-year-old is an
point?
adult? Does either account say a 9-year-old is an adult? What account of
Why is
adult
my
says a
point so
9-year-old is an
confusing
adult?
for a dumbass to understand?
Can you
It's a
tell us
very
what
simple
account
point.
would make a 9-year-old biological little girl an adult, Apollo? What account of
He's
adulthood is
still
that?
confused about the actual arguments we've given here. My
Because that was
God,
the
dude,
claim. All our claim
I've made
is
it
that
very clear explicitly
if
that
you think she was 9 years old, then there's no defense
that
for it. If
Aisha
you think
would
she's
be
9 years
9 years old given the
old, we
current way in
agree,
which we
nigga. Why
record
are you
ages.
arguing? Then why are
Forks,
you
you're just
arguing? We
shadowboxing
agree,
again. You can't even try the
retard.
very basic point and getting blown blown the fuck
We
out. Right? So I'm
literally
going to tell you
agree.
one more time. Right? I'm going
We
to repeat the
literally
position
agree.
for you. So, Forks,
We
what I'm
literally
telling you
agree.
here simply, that my position is not that Aisha would be 9 given the current 8 records. However,
we
your
agree.
standard is still
We
retarded because
agree.
your standard, unlike
Then we
my standard, hold on really
agree.
quickly, we
Then
don't
we
fully agree,
agree.
folks. We don't fully agree,
We
folks.
do
Here's the
fully agree.
disagreement. I'm going to tell you
All
this.
my claim
I'm going
was
to tell
that
you the disagreement.
not
The
justify that
disagreement
shit if
is
you
with
think she's
your
9 years old.
standard of
If you don't
determining
think
the
she's 9 years
eligibility
old,
for
then we
relationship.
agree. You don't
Your
have to
standard
justify it
is
that
you
way, Apollo.
determining
All
eligibility
the
for
claim was.
relationships on the basis of
All the
adulthood.
claim was.
That
That's
standard
all
has
the claim
ridiculous
was.
consequences. Mine does
The
not.
only
My
claim that
standard,
I ever
my
made that
standard is
was really
determining.
important
My
was that if you
standard is
think she's
determining
9,
the
then it's
eligibility
pedophilia.
for relationships on the basis of maturity. That's different from adulthood, retard. You can be
Okay,
mature
but
and
a
not be an
9-year-old
adult.
would
You know
never
that.
reach any sort of aspect of adulthood or maturity that reaches adult. That was the only claim. The only claim that
You
we
don't
were
even know
going
what
to
you're.
talk
You don't even know
about,
what you're even
the
on right.
only that I made is that the only way to defend the Prophet Muhammad is to say that his relations were with somebody who was in
That's
some
another
sort of
non-point, folks. I
reasonably
hope you
stable
understand
adult.
this.
If you
I
think that
hope
she
you
was
understand this is
9 years
another
old,
non-point, by the way.
and she was biologically 9, there's no defense for it. That was the only claim. Now, you've spent the last 20 minutes basically
You
saying, yeah,
said specifically that the other way that you could defend the position, or the only way that you could defend this position, which is universally consistent, is by
started
using
asking
adulthood as a
a
criteria.
19
And I'm criticizing that
as
standard
if
right
that
now.
has any bearing on if a 9-year-old is an
First, did
adult.
you not appeal to
Answer
adulthood
it.
as a universal criteria of determining the ethics of this relationship? Yes or no?
I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck alert.
You
I
don't
don't
care
give a fuck
about the
what I'm
actual
talking.
arguments. You don't care to actually have a
I don't give
substantive
a fuck because
conversation.
you agree with
You
the
don't care
original
to have a
claim. You're just
substantive
arguing for no
conversation. You want to
fucking
run over
reason.
the substantive
Which
conversation,
I
play
don't
a game
think
of
there's an
gotcha, and
easy.
derail with the
I
actual
don't
points here
think there's
because
an
you know for a
easy.
fact your position is
I don't.
garbage, your
Okay,
standard
finish
is
up.
garbage, your
Finish
argumentation
up.
is garbage, and your
Finish up.
persuasive ability is not good
Finish
enough
up.
to convince any
Finish up.
intelligent person that you're
Finish
actually looking
up.
good in the conversation.
Finish up. Okay, I don't think that there's like a very
It's
easy
crazy.
way to
This guy
solve what
determines
the
the ethics of
universal equation
relationships
is.
on the basis
Again,
of
I don't think there's
adulthood.
a very
That's
easy
a
way to
retarded
universally solve
position,
what the
Forrest.
equation.
I
Are
hope
you
you
good?
understand
Are
this.
you good? Are you venting?
I
Are
hope
you
you look
filtering?
back
Are
on
you
this
not?
conversation
Are you
and you're
raging?
like,
Yeah,
okay, I'm not
let's
going to
get
make
back
this
to the
retarded
conversation.
point again because clearly that's going to have ridiculous consequences.
God, you must
Just
really
look
love
back
the
on this
sound of your own
conversation
stupid,
afterwards.
retarded, fucking Jamaican voice, don't you? You just love how that shit sounds in the mic,
I
don't you?
love how it sounds. Definitely, it's amazing.
Yeah,
It's
I know
sexy.
you
I agree
do.
with
That's
it.
why you
But
won't shut the
guess what? I love doing. The other thing I love
hold on.
doing is
Hold
humiliating
on, hold
bully retards like you who can't even track conversations and have bad arguments for their position. That's another thing I love doing, and that's what I'm doing right now. That's what I'm doing right now. So I'm going to tell you again. I'm going to tell you again. Since the point did not,
on. I'm not
since the
listening.
point did not register in your head, I'm telling you one more time. That's
I'm
your
not listening.
criteria
I'm
of
literally not
determining the
listening. I
ethics of
gotta do this
relationship
real.
is contradictory. It's ridiculous. Do you agree with this? Yes or no?
Okay, I'm good. Are you
Oh shit, dude, he tapped out of the conversation. Yeah, Forrest, just a heads up, by the way, adulthood is a very vague and ridiculous standard of determining the ethics of relationship for multiple different reasons that I've laid out
Oh
previously.
my
The
god.
legalistic
You're
account of
still
adulthood is
going?
going to be something which is relative to the society that one lives in, and the biological account would entail
Something
that
that's
an
relative to
18-year-old
the
would not be an
society that
adult.
one lives in.
Yeah.
I don't think that's true. Okay, to be clear, I don't think there's like a very easy to
You
define
don't think
universal
legality
way
is
to say.
relative to society? You don't
I
think
don't
the
think that
laws
you
are
can.
relative
I
to
don't think that.
society?
No, I don't care if a
Yes
society
or
says a
no?
6-year-old is an
Do you
adult.
not
I
believe
don't care if
laws
the
are relative to society? Do you not
society
believe
says a
laws
6-year-old
are
is an
relative
adult.
to society?
I
Yes or
don't
no?
care if the society
Yes or
says that a
no?
6-year-old is an adult. I don't judge whether or not you're an adult or
That's irrelevant
like
to my
able to
question.
have
Want to answer my question this
sensual
time?
sex.
Want to answer my question this time?
I don't
Do you
care
not
how. Hold
believe
on.
that laws are
Hold
relative to
on.
society? Yes or no? Do you not
I don't
believe
believe
this?
your ability to consent to sex is relative to
Are
society. Do
laws
you?
relative to society, Forks?
Is the
Are
ability to
laws
consent
relative to
to
society?
sex
Yes or
relative to
no?
society?
Stop
The
dodging my
ability to consent
goddamn
to
question.
sex
Answer the
is
question,
relative
Forks.
to
You have
society.
this nasty
But something
tendency
from a
to dodge
9-year-old
my
can
question and
consent
ask
to
me an
sex.
irrelevant. I'm going to
Hey, who gives
re-ask the
a
question.
man that
Are
says
laws
you can fuck
relative
at
to
9
society?
years
Yes or
old?
no?
Who cares?
Are laws relative to society? Yes or no? Yes or no, Forks?
Is it the ability to consent is what's in question? I don't give a fuck
Yes
about
or
laws.
no? Answer the goddamn question. Yes or no? Are laws relative to society? I made the claim they are relative to
Would you fuck a
society. Are
9-year-old
they
if it was
relative?
legal? Would
Yes
you
or
fuck
no,
a 9-year-old
Forks?
if it was legal? Would
Yes
you
or
fuck
no,
a 9-year-old if
Forks?
it was legal?
Yes or no,
Would you fuck
Forks?
a 9-year-old if
It's
it
a
was
very
legal?
simple yes or no question. Yes or no.
I
Either it
just
is the
don't give
case
a
they are
fuck. Who
relative
gives
to
a fuck
society or they're
about the
not.
law?
Are they relative to society? Are they relative to society?
What? Laws? Who gives a
You won't
fuck? Is
answer the
consent to
question.
sex
My
relative?
God, dude.
Is consent to sex relative to society? Does a society determine that a 6-year-old
That's
can have
another
sex
dodge
with an
to my
adult?
question. Want to try again, retard? That's
Okay,
another
so then you're
evasion.
fucking
That's
irrelevant. You're
another
fucking
dialectical
totally
evasion.
irrelevant. I
That's
don't give a
another
fuck if
dialectical
the
evasion. I
laws
was going to
occur
ask you the
or
question
you
first.
can fuck a kid.
Every
I
single
don't
time
give
I
a fuck
ask
if the
folks
laws
a
occur to
basic
say
rudimentary
anything.
one-dimensional
Give a
question,
fuck.
he dodges my question and asks me a new question to get off the question
You
that I've asked him
actually give a
originally.
fuck.
He always should get off the
Okay.
question because he can't answer the question. You know for a fact if
Would
he
you fuck
answer
a
the question,
9-year-old if
you're going to
you
fuck the
said you
position
could?
over. I'm
Would you
telling
fuck
you
a
here, folks.
9-year-old if
Again,
you
I'm going
said
to
you could?
re-ask the
Would you
question.
fuck a
Are
9-year-old if
laws
you said you
relative to
could?
society? Yes or no? Are
Would you
laws
fuck a
relative to
9-year-old if
society?
you
Yes or
said you could?
no?
Would
Are
you fuck a
laws
9-year-old if
relative to
you said you
society,
could?
folks? Yes or
Would
no,
you
folks?
fuck a
Stop trying to
9-year-old if
rhetorically
somebody
posture.
said you could? You
Stop
fucking
trying to
retard.
rhetorically posture. Let's have a
Fucking
substantive
retard.
conversation, folks.
I'm saying
Let's
who
have a
gives a fuck
substantive
about what the laws of
conversation, folks.
society say?
Yes or
We're
no?
not
Are
grounding
laws
whether or
relative to
not
society? Yes or no,
Islam
folks?
is
Answer
fine
the
off
question.
the
Stop
laws of the
posturing.
society.
Stop trying to posture,
Grounding it
folks.
is
Yes or
just,
no, folks?
yeah, it's a
Yes or no,
fucking
folks?
joke.
Are laws
All I'm
relative?
saying
The answer is
is
yes, folks.
he
The
has
answer is yes, folks. It's a very
consent.
obvious,
The
blatant
laws
yes.
don't
They are
dictate
relative to
into a
society. So how
biological
are you going to deny
society.
my
That's
claim when I
all.
said specifically that the legalistic account would be relative, you moron, you dumbass? That's a very obvious fact, you imbecile. What are you
We
talking
don't give a
about?
fuck. We don't need the law to tell us not to fuck kids, Apollo. We don't need the law to tell us
You
that.
just dodge it again. You try to rhetorically posture and go off into derail non-tangential points
Not
because
even
he has no
hard.
substantive
The
responses.
fuck
You
is
have
the
no
fuck?
rebuttal to my actual point here.
I
That's
don't give a
crazy.
fuck what the laws say that you can
You
fuck a
don't care about
9-year-old,
anything.
18-year-old, or
Every single time I give an actual relevant
going to
response,
use
you're
my
like,
morality to
I don't
say
give a fuck. I
that
don't
this
give a fuck.
person
That's your
is or
response
is
to
not
actual objections, by
biologically
the
and
way. Your
mentally
response to
capable of
actual
consent,
substantive
and
objections
that's where the
is you repeatedly
conversation begins
saying
and
you don't
ends.
care about the actual point because you are in fact retarded, right? That's how you
No,
respond to
I don't
actual
care
debate,
about
by
what
the
the
way.
laws say,
You
Apollo,
don't
because
care
the
about
laws don't
actual
dictate
substance.
morality.
You
The
don't care
laws
about
don't
actual
dictate
substance.
consent.
All you
The
care
laws
about
don't
is to up
dictate
in the
justice.
voice call
The
and
laws
paint
don't
a
dictate
Muslim
morality.
to be a
The laws don't
pedophile
dictate
because you're
how
an
I should
Islamophobic
operate
piece
my
of
life
shit.
as an
Because you're an
adult man
Islamophobic
in
piece
the
of
fucking
trash.
world.
All you
Okay?
care
They
about
don't
is
dictate
rhetorically
that.
posturing in a VC full of
I'm
non-Muslims to
rhetorically
paint a
posturing.
Muslim to be a
You're just
pedophile
sucking
worshiper
my
or a
dick
pedophile
about how
supporter
I don't
because
have the
you
presentation
are an
skills and
Islamophobic piece of shit.
argumentation to whoop
Just
your
admit it.
fucking
Just
ass.
admit that you're an
Now you're
Islamophobic
telling
piece of
me
trash.
I
Admit it,
rhetorically
dude.
posture? So
Admit
all
that
you
you're an
do
Islamophobic
is
piece of
rhetorically
trash.
posture.
Go.
Nigga, all
Just
you do is
admit
go
that you're
after
an
people's
Islamophobic
DMs
piece of
telling you
trash who has
how
no
I rhetorically
substance and who
answer
won't
you.
engage on the
So
actual points. And your only
entire
purpose in this
fucking career
conversation is just to
is
rhetorically
your time.
posture and try to paint a Muslim to be a
You're
pedophile
up.
supporter because you are an
You're
Islamophobic piece
rhetorically
of trash.
posturing,
Admit
bro.
it.
That's all
Admit it,
you're
Forks.
fucking known for.
Admit it,
Oh,
Forks. I'm rhetorically posturing in response to you
yeah,
rhetorically posturing
of course
because
you
you
are.
repeatedly dodge
Of
my
course you
relevant
are.
questions
That's
because you
all
don't want
you
to
know
engage with
how
the
to
substance
do. Because
every
when you're
single
not
time.
asking me if laws can
Every single
justify
time, dude.
fucking a 9-year-old, you're rhetorically posturing. It's one of those two.
Look
The
at you
only
dodging
two
again. You just won't answer the
admit it.
question. You won't answer any of the questions.
Do the laws dictate if I can fuck a 9-year-old? The answer is no. The laws do not dictate the
Look
consent
at
of
that guy
relationship.
dodging again. That's another
Obviously
dodge
no.
from Forks. He asked me a question which is irrelevant to
No,
any of the points I've
obviously no.
made. No one has ever claimed, Forks, that
Are you
the
done?
laws dictate this
So
actually
what
being
other
okay. No
point
one
do
has
you have
ever
to
made this
make?
claim,
I
Forks.
think we're all
What I'm
getting
telling you,
tired of this
however,
bullshit.
is that this
Look, I
claim is
think we're all getting
irrelevant. And
tired of
by the
this
way, just for
bullshit.
your
Do
own
you have another
information,
point to make or
back
not?
then in the medieval back then in historical research in the medieval times, right, child marriage was okay. Child marriage is legally
Yeah,
okay.
that
So
was
for
one
you
of
to
the
make the
worst things
claim
in
that the
human
laws never
history,
dictated
Apollo.
child marriage being okay
Yeah,
is
children
ridiculous. That's
were
a
getting
retarded
raped
and
in the
incorrect
millions,
claim
Apollo. That was
given
one
the
of the
historical
worst things.
facts. The laws back then
What the?
did in fact allow for child marriage. Now I'm not
Why did
making
you
the claim
say
that it is
that? Hey,
okay.
George, did you
However, I'm
know
not
back in the
saying,
day,
just to
rape was
clarify for the
illegal?
retard, I'm not
Yeah, of
saying
course,
that
raping
child
kids was
marriage is
legal
okay.
back in the day.
However, what I'm
We had
making
a
it clear
degenerate
here is that
society, a
given the
degenerate
laws of
morality
the
ruled
time,
by
in
kings.
some moments in
We don't
time,
live in
given
that
the legalistic
society
system,
anymore,
it would
Apollo.
in fact be
We don't
okay.
live in a society where it's okay to fuck kids anymore. That's why the Epstein file
That's not
shit
what
is
I'm
going
saying, you
down.
moron.
Because
What are you
we're not
talking about?
doing
I'm
that shit
saying here
anymore.
that the
You don't
laws
make
back
it
then
legal to
said
marry
this was
kids,
okay. Me
Apollo.
telling you here
It is
that the
not
laws
okay.
back then said this was okay is different from
Yeah,
me
and it
making the
was
claim that it
wrong
is in
back
fact okay.
then. And
I
it
can
was
disagree with
wrong
the
back
laws, you
then,
idiots.
Apollo.
They are immoral
Wrong
laws.
back
I'm
then.
telling you here that your claim, historically speaking, would be incorrect because in the medieval times, this was in fact a law of the time. This was in fact a law of the land. What are you talking about, dude?
Agree with me, Apollo. It's still fucking
He's
wrong.
deflecting again. He won't even address address the actual points here.
No,
There's
not
a
the
distinction forth between
How
someone
about you completely
saying
disagree
that
with
the
me?
laws of the
Oh,
land
not
says
so
X is
racist
okay, from them
disagreeing
in
with
fact
me.
agreeing that it is in fact
That's
okay. There's a
outrage
radical
for telling
difference,
me I'm
Forks.
wrong.
I'm not
No,
making the
anything but
claim
that.
that child marriage is
Oh,
okay. What I'm
anything but
telling
that,
you here,
bro.
Forks,
Alright,
is that the laws of the
alright.
land back
I'm
then
so glad I'm on the
said
right
and
side of
allowed
history and
for
I
this
don't
to
dick such
occur. That's
pedophiles from
different.
ancient times. I'm so glad I'm on the right side of history and I don't dick
You
such
said
pedophiles from ancient
specifically
times
that the
like
laws
you.
never dictate this. I'm
Please
proving you
shit.
wrong based off history, you
Please
moron.
fuck.
The historical facts debunks your own claim. The historical facts demonstrates that your claim
Wait,
is
you think the historical fact that
obviously
it
incorrect.
was ever okay to fuck a child? You think the historical fact it was ever
I've
okay to
never said that this was okay, you moron. I'm saying the laws allow for this to occur. There's historical evidence for this.
You don't even condone it. You don't, bro. Be a fucking
I
man.
don't have to
Only
condone it for me to point
believe
out
in, nigga.
that your claim
You
about
don't
the
believe
laws
in
is
this shit,
incorrect.
and you
You said
argue for it anyway.
specifically
You're a
that the
fucking
laws,
pussy.
you said
Be
specifically
a
the laws
fucking
never
man.
dictate
Stand on
this.
the
What are you
street,
talking
nigga.
about? I've made it very obviously clear that I don't agree with child marriage being okay. I've said
Then
this
why are you
explicitly. What are you
bringing up the
talking about,
laws?
Forks?
Then
I've
why
said
are
this
you bringing
explicitly.
up the
Stop your
laws like
retarded
anybody
posture.
gives a
Let's
fuck?
have a substantive
Then why are
conversation.
you
I've made it
bringing up
very
the laws
clear.
like
I've made it
anybody gives a fuck?
explicitly clear, Forks,
If
that
you
I'm
think it
not
was evil
supporting child
child
marriage.
rape,
What are you talking about?
if you think it was evil child rape, then why are you bringing this up like it supports anything?
Because you said laws have never dictated this being okay. That's historically incorrect,
No,
you dumbass. What are you
retard. I
talking
said
about?
laws don't
In the
dictate the
medieval
morality of
times, they
consensual
did
sex.
in fact allow for this
And
to
if laws
occur.
don't
So you'd
dictate
have
the
to agree
morality
with
of
the relativity of
consensual sex,
laws of the land.
then I don't
You'd
give a
have to
fuck
agree with
about
the
laws in this
relativity of laws.
retard. Why your position? That's why your question was fucking dumb. Because the laws are
My
going to
question is
dictate
not
the
dumb.
morality.
You're the dumbass here, kind of attract the conversation right now because you don't even understand the very obvious fact that laws are relative to the society and the time
It's
we live in,
not.
you moron. It could possibly be the case, folks. It could possibly be the case that in the future, 5-year-olds are allowed to have sex, you moron. It could possibly be the case. However, we know for a fact this is immoral. I'm telling you that laws are relative.
Against that
Laws are
every
relative.
day.
It depends on the
If we
time
ever
you
end
live
up
in.
in
It
that
depends
future,
on the
I'll personally have
land you're
fucking
living in
blood on my
also,
hands. What are
and the
you gonna do,
rulers of
Paula?
said land, you moron. What are you talking
Yes.
about?
Wait, who actually gives a fuck? I'm so confused. What point are you trying to make?
You're
Who actually
confused in
gives a fuck if
everything,
the
Force.
laws
We
break?
agree with you. We agree you're confused. We
No,
know you're
I
confused.
mean,
You're a
I seem
dumbass.
pretty
We
unconfused
don't
about the
expect
fact that it's not
anything
okay
better
to
from a
fuck
low
a child.
IQ pig
I
who
don't know
can't
if
track
you're
conversations. Of
about
course, you're
that.
confused on the
Shit.
basic points.
I'm not confused that it's okay to fuck a child.
You
I'm
just said you're
actually not confused on
confused. You
that.
just admitted to being
I'm not
confused on the
confused on
overall
the fact that it's
conversation.
not
Of
okay to
course, you're
fuck a child.
confused right
I'm
now. Yes,
actually
you are
very clear.
confused.
I'm actually very clear on the fact that it's never been okay to fuck a child, regardless
And
of
I'm
the
going to make
laws.
it very
I don't know why
clear that
these
I don't
laws would
agree that
ever
child marriage is
penalties
okay, but you're
anything that's
strong
ever
man in my
happened. It's just
position.
bananas. What the
All
fuck?
you're trying to do here is build a straw man to slap it down. You want to attack the actual argument. My actual argument here is that your claim, which is indirectly denying the relativity of laws, is a retarded, absurd, ridiculous, preposterous position. Of course it
All
is,
that I
because
denied is
historically
that
speaking,
laws
this
dictate
is
morality
incorrect.
or
Even in current
relevance to
times,
morality. That's
and
all that I
even in
denied,
current
Apollo.
times, force, we see that the age of consent differs from land to land. Your claim is
Nobody ever
objectively
disagreed with that.
incorrect given
All
the
I
actual
disagreed
facts,
with was the
folks.
relevance
Facts
of
don't
that
care about
in
your
any
feelings.
morality conversation, which we're having a conversation
You
about
mentioned
morality of
legality, and
protecting
I'm telling you here
somebody.
that legality is going to be
I
something which
mention
is
it in
relative,
the
you
I
idiot.
mention it in the sense that it does not dictate morality because we started talking about the
Are
laws
you
of
an idiot? You made the claim that laws do not dictate this. What are you talking about?
I know laws do not
You
dictate
said
that you can fuck
you said laws
a
have
child.
never dictated the morality of this action, in the sense where there's never allowed this to happen.
No,
I'm saying
didn't
that's
fucking say. What I
incorrect.
said was
I listened to what you said, and it was an obvious blunder. What are you talking about? You stun locked. She's stun locked. My God, dude.
that's how the
Yeah,
fucking
just
shit
to make
works.
this
That's all I
clear,
deny. You fucking we have power in
what
fucking
you said
chat,
for
so we can.
specifically is that it is the case that the laws
If you
never
want
allowed for
to
this
read
to occur. Now I agree that it does in fact allow for this to occur historically, so your claim
I
is
never
incorrect.
agreed to that retard. That's
That's
why we
all I'm
have
saying here.
power and call you fucking idiot.
You're
Go
having a
reel it
typical
back.
retard
Yes,
moment, folks. You're
ever.
having a typical retard autistic moment where you
You're
refuse
okay.
to track the actual points
And
of the
pull it in the recording
conversation
then. Go pull it
because
in
you
the
have a 2
recording then.
megabyte
Go
storage
pull it
break.
in the
I'm going to tell you
recording then.
one more time. I'm
Pull
going
it
to
in the
tell you one more
recording then.
time, folks. I'm going to tell you one more time, folks. Your claim about
Okay,
the
tell
laws
me
are
one more
incorrect.
time about
And
how
I'm
laws
telling you
justify
here
fucking
that
kids.
I
Tell me.
don't
Tell me.
agree with child marriage being okay. However, what I'm telling you here,
However,
folks, is that your
however,
standard by which you determine the eligibility for
however,
relationships is a flawed standard. If you're going to determine it
this
based on
nigga said
adulthood,
I don't
that's going to be
agree
a
with child
flawed
rape,
standard because
but
given that standard,
I
which is
don't
going to be
agree with
appealing to
child rape.
adulthood, it would be
However,
the case
what
that it is not okay for you to have sex with 18-year-olds because an 18-year-old, given the biological definition, would not be an adult, you retard. What part of this point is hard for you to understand, you imbecile? It's very simple.
are
Is Forks bugging or is it just me?
He's lagging quite a bit.
This guy's like actually retarded. I'm not making the claim that child marriage is okay. I agree it is not okay. However, what I was mentioning there is that Force is saying that it is universally consistent to appeal to adulthood to determine the eligibility of the ethics of relationships. That's a flawed standard because given the definition of adulthood, which is when you become an adult, an 18-year-old would not be an adult because 18-year-olds are not fully grown human beings. That's a bad definition. That's a retarded definition.
Hey, retard. When did we ever?
You have to appeal
When
to
did I ever
maturity,
say
Force.
adult?
We use age as predictors. You said your standard, which you've appealed to in the chat, was universally consistent, i.e., it is not context specific. And I can prove to you right now that Aisha was mature. I can prove that claim right now easily.
Prove what claim?
And just to be clear, Forks, just to be clear for you in the chat, when they say Aisha was 9 years old, they just mean 9-year-old after puberty, so she was technically 18 years old. Because back then, historically speaking, Forks, how we determined the ages was not from birth, but rather from puberty onwards. So she was 18, 19. And this is also proved by historical independent Islamic evidence. So given your own standard, you have to agree that she was eligible for the relationship, and you'd also have to agree at the same time that your standard is also dog shit, it's trash. It's a retarded standard to actually adopt. Just to be clear, Google AI is competent because Google AI has all the references, you idiots. It's backed up by direct credible sources. You can see at the top parts, by the way, you retard, that it has several different sources, which is linked in every single message. You're an idiot. Oh, you're using Google AI? Yes, of course. It's a competent source. It's consistently accurate. Idiot.
I will be fact checking that. That is not true.
Jester, buddy.
Google AI can be accurate, but
it is in most cases accurate. 99% of cases. And it has
99%
references.
of 99%
Yes.
of cases. Can you prove that?
I can prove it based off inductive evidence.
What's the evidence?
Yeah, so let's do a sample size of 10 and then see if in those sample size, it would be the case in any of those cases, it will be inaccurate.
Apollo
Wanna do
can't
it?
do that. Yeah, we heard. You're gonna take a sample size of 10 out of the
Is this free to go
millions and
talking or
millions
Jester?
of
Because I don't know why
possible
free to go
searches?
mic is popping up. Jester, right?
No, it's Jester. Yes, you can't take a.
Okay, got you.
I'm gonna explain something really quickly to you.
What, bro?
Sure.
You cannot take a sample size of 10 to run, let's say like a lab on something that has millions and billions of searches. It just wouldn't be a valid source of evidence. That's not how that works.
Why would that not be a valid source of evidence?
Because you're using a small sample size of a larger amount. It's not even a percent of the source of like the searches. Not even
You
a
understand that all the sample size we use for making facts or making claims about biology or physics is going to be smaller over size itself? So, for example, if you look at Isaac Newton's, yeah, I'll give you an example. So, Isaac Newton discovered gravity, for example.
Because Google AI just said he was lying.
Yeah, so if you use Isaac Newton's discovery of gravity, I don't know who pushes buttons in the conversation, dude. So please just relax for a second. You can have the conversation get spanked afterwards. So back to Jester. If you look at all the times in which a particular law of physics is being
Buddhist, your
discovered,
mic is going
right,
through
that time occurs in the latter period of the human history and not in the prior period.
I went to Google and
Dude, we
Google
can't even
AI.
understand what the fuck you're saying, like unironically. We can't understand what you're saying right now. You're like Marcus Muffin this shit, and you sound like a
Bro,
retard.
Plutus,
So I'm
your
telling
mic
you
going
here,
through a fifth
Jester,
dimension, bro.
if you look at like all the laws
to
of
support
physics,
the
by the way,
modern
which are discovered,
apologetic
majority of them, like
claim that
law formula, for
counting began
example,
after
that law is discovered at a time when it was at the latter period of human history, not in the prior period. So
Okay.
technically
Jester, can
speaking,
I
prior
get
to the
picked on for
discovery,
like 2 seconds?
technically speaking, prior to the discovery, it
Can
would be the
everybody
case
mic down?
that there were a lot
can I
more
actually ask you a
discoveries which were not actually observed by human beings.
Apollo. So you take Google AI to be a valid source of evidence, right?
If by valid you mean it is consistently accurate, definitely, yeah.
Okay, so what's this in general? Go ahead.
Is that Google AI or something else?
That's
It's
Google
Google
AI.
AI saying Google AI is inconsistent sometimes.
Let me
Thank
check the
you.
chat real quickly. Hold up.
My fucking god.
So how is the
This-
possibility if it being inconsistent disprove it being consistently accurate in reality?
Yeah, we no longer need to continue that conversation. Thank you.
So you can see the conversation? I accept.
You're a fucking idiot.
I accept the concession, retard. You said specifically that, oh, well, Google AI said it can be inconsistent, so that debunks you being consistently accurate. Are you fucking stupid?
Can you niggas look in chat?
That's your wonderful genius
Can you niggas
objection.
look in
The
chat? Can you
possibility
niggas
of
look
being
in chat?
inconsistent. Jester, do you think when I'm saying that it is consistently accurate, I'm denying the possibility of being inconsistent, you retard? Genuinely?
Hey, Apollo, can you read something for me, little nigga? Can you read so? Hey, read the
Holy
first
shit,
paragraph for
dude.
me,
What a
darling. Read the
You
first
said,
masterclass
can
paragraph.
you
level
read
of
something for me,
objection.
little
Oh, well,
nigga?
Google
That's
AI could be
crazy.
inconsistent,
literally,
so that means
Hey,
it is not
read! Hey,
consistently
look,
accurate.
man, read! Look, man, read!
Google AI literally says that it is known for like
Your argument, Jester, quite
fabricating.
literally is you saying it could be inaccurate, therefore it is not consistently accurate. That's retarded.
No, Google AI is saying that it is inaccurate and it does fabricate
Are
evidence.
doctors consistently accurate about their claims about biology?
Non-analogous.
Yes or no?
Non-analogous.
The answer is yes, you retard, but they could be inconsistent. They could make an inconsistent claim. It is perfectly analogous. Your argument is you saying, your genius level argument is saying, well, because Google AI agrees that it can be inconsistent, then that means it is not consistently accurate. That doesn't follow, retard. That's retarded. That's like a trash level low tier objection. Want to
Apollo,
try
can you
again?
read for me? Can you look in chat?
I read the
Someone
entire
posted
screenshot.
something. No, okay, so what does the second sentence say?
I'm attacking just the screenshot for the
No,
time being.
read it. Read the second sentence aloud. Read it.
Unless you guys
Don't
want
be
to
a coward.
concede
Read
that the
it aloud.
screenshot just posted would not be good evidence.
Okay,
Do you want to
cool.
concede
I
that first before
posted
we move on to a
Google
different
AI,
screenshot?
which we can posit as being good
Okay.
Clueless, do
evidence.
you
It
agree
is
that
saying
just the
that there's no.
screenshot is not evidence against my claim? Yes or no?
Hey, I don't care for your
Clueless, do
conversation
you
with
agree?
Jester.
Yes or
I'm not
no?
Jester.
That just the
I'm
screenshot
not
would not be
Jester. I
evidence
don't
against it being
care.
consistently
I
accurate? Yes or
haven't
no?
read his screenshot. I don't care for it.
Okay, so we're on the screenshot right now. That's the point you're on right now. We're not going to change the
Why
points
are you
for your convenience.
obfuscating?
Apollo.
Everyone in
You're the
chat
one
can see
changing
the
the points because
screenshot.
you're scared to
Apollo,
actually track the actual argument.
Oh
You're
my
scared to
god.
track
Hey,
the actual argument.
Check
look, man.
the
Listen, hey,
The point
listen,
you're
man.
on
Listen,
right
man.
now
Listen, man.
is about
Listen, man.
whether or not it is consistently accurate, and just to give a refutation towards that, which is a bad refutation. Do you want to agree that his refutation is bad before we move on to a different point? Yes or no?
Read.
Apollo,
Read
can
the
you
second
shut
sentence.
So to stop
the fuck?
dodging, answer my question.
Apollo,
Yes or no?
Apollo, can you
Stop
shut the fuck
dodging.
up for a second and read what's in chat?
Jester, you're not giving an actual argument, by the way. Just to be
Bro, he's
Apollo,
bro,
I
this
Apollo,
am
is
giving you
sad.
an
see what I
argument.
tagged you, bro. Apollo, see what I tagged you.
Google AI
He can
literally
see it.
It's like
says
the worst level objection I've ever heard, unironically. What the
Google.
fucking retard?
Oh my fucking god, Apollo! Google AI itself says that it has a low level of consistency in sourcing.
How does
And
that
it has
disprove him being consistently accurate in reality?
Okay, you're just a fucking idiot.
He just won't track the
Okay.
actual points here. My god, dude.
Google,
Yeah, you understand what I'm saying? It's
AI
consistently accurate. I'm saying
fabricates
that in
evidence
most
and has
cases
low
in which you make a
consistency in
research about
sourcing. So no,
XYZ,
it
it
is
is
not going to
accurate.
be consistent.
Bro, Apollo, check general, bro.
What do you think it
Holy
means to
fuck.
say
He
that
can
something is
see it. He
consistently
can see
accurate,
it. He
Jester?
can
AI
see.
is
He's
not
coping.
consistent.
He can see it. He can see it.
I'm attacking
Apollo, check
Jester's
general,
current
bro.
claim for the
Everybody's
time
Hey,
being.
fucking spamming it, bro. Just check
Apollo,
general,
can
bro.
you read the second sentence for me, big man? What does it say?
Oh no.
Hey,
I'm
look,
waiting
man,
for the
read. You
objection.
have. Do I need to read it for you? Are you illiterate? Read it,
Wait, Apollo, what's your objection,
I'm
bro?
waiting for the
Wait,
objection to the current point that
objection
Jester
to
brought
what?
up.
Wait,
bro.
what's
This
Jester's
you're
point?
going outside.
The
Just
point about the
read
Google
it.
AI stuff? What are you talking about?
Yeah, so he sent you a screenshot of it saying it being inconsistent. Then you asked us, why is it not inconsistent in reality? How does that disprove that?
Oh,
No,
Jesus
he's saying
Christ.
that the possibility of it being inconsistent disproves it being consistently accurate.
Okay.
I'm asking how
The
does that disprove it being
but
consistently accurate?
So Apollo,
it's
let me answer
talking
your
about
question.
general synthetic claim in reality, bro. It's
Apollo,
talking about
beyond that, if you're
That's what
gonna
I'm saying.
die hard on the hill that Google AI is a consistent source of evidence, which it's not, by the way. Google AI is telling you, and you look at the screenshots in chat, that people did not count from birth and did not count post
So
puberty.
how does this disprove it being consistently accurate?
because it
Hey,
says it's inconsistent. It's not about a
We are not
possibility.
talking about that at
You
all.
understand that
Apollo.
even you
Apollo,
understand that it demonstrates in a
Apollo,
single
I'll give you the
you understand
argument for Ben.
demonstrates in a single
I'll
instance
give you
of
the argument.
inconsistency
Apollo,
is not disproving the
currently we have an
consistency
It's
of being
saying
accurate.
it's
unidentifiable
dude.
path.
Demonstrates in a single source of
Apollo,
inconsistency, if it was to be inconsistent, will not
Apollo,
debunk the
read the screen.
consistency of being accurate.
Apollo, read the screenshot.
Apollo,
It's not
read the
just saying,
fucking
oh,
I'm
it's a
waiting
one
for the
time.
actual objection to
Hold
the
on,
actual argument.
wait, Apollo.
Are you guys
It's
gonna keep on
saying that
shadow boxing?
it's making a general trend, bro, that overall it's usually inconsistent. That's what it's saying. That's why you need to read it, buddy. Read, Apollo.
Read, nigga, read.
And not only that, but Apollo, let's just take it to be fucking consistent.
Lost in
Read
the
what
garlic
your
sauce, bro.
sources
Let's look at
says.
Jester's screenshot one more time. Hold on. Let me actually check what's
We're
going
not
on in
even
the chat.
talking about.
Not Jester, bro. The one that has been spammed. Apollo. Literally your source. Read your fucking source that is in general.
Hold up.
Apollo,
No.
nigga.
Your own source.
What Jester
agrees
posted
and
was, yes,
disagrees
Google
with you.
AI can be inconsistent,
Apollo, you're
and this is a
going down 5
well-documented
tiers
issue
right now.
with its AI
Because of
overviews
this.
feature and other language model-based products.
Apollo.
Inconsistencies manifest as incorrect or fabricated information,
It's pissing me
shifting
off, bro.
results for the same query and unreliable output. That's what demonstrates it being consistently inaccurate.
You're just reading why it's telling. You're reading.
I just
why
read
Google,
as to why you're just not
Apollo,
even
you're
pointing
reading
out
why
the
Google AI is telling you
contradiction
it's
in my position.
inconsistent. That doesn't mean it's inconsistent.
It says
They
that
publish
it has
irrelevant.
inconsistencies, not that
Apollo,
it is
your own
consistently
AI.
inaccurate.
Apollo.
My
Listen to
God.
me. Apollo,
Can't you
stop
read,
talking.
Jester?
Apollo,
You think the
stop talking.
possibility or
Apollo,
certain
stop
instances of
talking.
being inconsistent is going to be evidence against the consistent trend of being inaccurate?
Apollo, your own AI.
You can't be this lost in the conversation, right,
Apollo,
Jester?
Apollo,
I'm
your
listening to what you're
own
saying, Jester.
You're
I'm listening.
spurging.
Do you know what's
Your
going on
own
here?
AI. Can we post it? Can we post
I'm
a picture
definitely
again?
spurging. Yeah, you got me right there, Jester. I'm
Can we
spurging because
post
you're
a
being
picture
retarded.
again? Apollo, your own AI literally says that people they count from birth, not from puberty.
Wait, we're attacking this screenshot, right? This screenshot you posted, right? Which you said,
That's fine.
yes,
For the
Google AI
hypothetical, you're
can be
rented, bro.
inconsistent. And this is a well-documented
Apollo,
issue.
this is the screenshot.
That
This is
screenshot,
the
do you
other
think that's good
screenshot in
evidence against my position? Yes or no? Yes or no? Answer the question.
Apollo, are you dumb?
The screenshots you posted originally, is that good evidence against it being
That's
consistently
not
accurate?
even the
Yes or no?
screenshot that I'm talking about right now. They are posting.
So
a
you dropped that screenshot?
Apollo,
So you dropped
shut the
that
fuck up
screenshot?
before I fucking server mute.
Wait, so you dropped that screenshot?
Okay, I'm server muting this fucking pussy. Can we post the picture again? And can you respond to the fucking picture? I'm not debating you right now. Like, what are we talking about? Can we post the picture again?
Yeah, okay. Can someone read it?
Apollo, are you ready to
Could
stop
someone
over
get him to
talking
answer
me?
the goddamn question? He won't even
Apollo,
answer.
can you respond? That my response.
You posted
to your
this
argument-
screenshot, Jester. I'm asking you, does this debunk you being consistently accurate? Yes or no?
Jester, if he doesn't stop talking about, I'll read it, bro. Can't lie, bro.
I
This
want
thing
you to
pisses
drop
me
this
off.
point first before we move on to another point.
Apollo.
Jester, answer the fucking question. This screenshot you posted, does this debunk the claim I made? Yes or no?
You're an idiot.
Yes or no? Answer the fucking question. It's not hard.
Jester, can I just read what
See,
the
this is why
screenshot
no
says?
one actually thinks you're really that good, because just a retard just embarrassed yourself right now. Look at the screenshot you posted. You said, yes, Google AI can be inconsistent. How does this debunk the claim that it is consistently accurate?
Apollo, this is the
How does
rest
this
of the
debunk the claim
screenshot.
that it's consistently accurate? Tell me.
Because it's telling you it's non-consistent on the screenshot.
It said it can be inconsistent, not that it is not consistently accurate.
Apollo, it says
the screenshot you posted originally. This is the first screenshot you posted, by the way. This screenshot does not debunk the claim I made. No part of that screenshot debunks you being consistently accurate, retard. You're just saying there can be inconsistencies. That's different.
Why are you getting why are you doing this like invincible?
Why are you dodging my fucking question?
Apollo,
That's the better question.
Apollo, can you read this? What I'm posting in chat right
now? Can you read
this
screenshot and answer my fucking question?
This is the other
How
half
does this debunk the
screenshot? Apollo,
stop trying to change the position. Now, this is the first screenshot you posted. I'm asking you, how does this debunk you being consistently accurate?
This is the other half of it. Apollo, if you press show more, it's going to tell you.
Answer the question. I'm waiting for the answer, by the way. Don't dodge.
Bro, please just read the screenshot, nigga. Please, bro.
After you guys answer my question, now I'll answer you guys' question.
Apollo, if you press show
Jester,
more,
this is the first argument you've posted, by the way. This is the first argument you've given in support of your claim. Do you agree this argument does not work?
Apollo, this screenshot, this is the rest of it, and it's literally telling you that it is not consistent. It's indicating low consistency.
Jester, we're talking about the screenshot you posted first. This screenshot, before we move on to a different point, this screenshot, do you think that screenshot proves your claim? Do you think that screenshot proves your claim, yes or no?
Apollo,
the screenshot where you mentioned that Google AI can be inconsistent. Does that prove your claim, yes or no? I'm not talking to myself, I'm talking to you right now. Answer my fucking question. You're moving off to a different screenshot because you know the first screenshot failed horrendously. I can address the second screenshot afterwards. I wanted to agree the first screenshot failed horrendously. Do you agree it's failed? Yes or no?
Okay, who wants to explain to him that the screenshot that I'm posting?
Okay, so he's just gonna run away and just sprint over the actual substance. That's crazy.
I'm a fucking server mute this fucking pussy because I'm not dealing with this. The screenshot.
I'll explain it to them.
Hold up. The screenshot here. We'll explain it to him. The screenshot here, right? And this screenshot, Apollo, are the same are the same thing. These, if you press show more on the first image, if you press show more, it shows you the second part of the screenshot. And in the second part of the screenshot, it tells you that what it means by yes, Google AI can be inconsistent is that Google AI 91% of the time give you different URLs and different sources. So it has a low consistency in sources and has an inherent limitation in its sourcing in its AI model. It is
Bro,
telling you that it is definitionally inconsistent and it's not
Apollo's too
sourced for.
brain-rotted by
So
philosophy,
now
bro. He thinks like
respond to
can
this.
here.
Apollo, respond to this or just shut the fuck up.
The latter
Apollo's too
part,
brain-rotted
by
by
the way, which
philosophy.
doesn't prove your point, is it saying that it has low consistency in source and output. That's not talking about the accuracy of the fucking information, you dumbass. You can't even read your own screenshot. It says right here, non-deterministic nature. Large language models, such as Gemini family of models, which power AI on Google research, are not designed to produce the same output every single time, even with the same input. For the same queries run on the same day, Google's AI mode returned a different set of source URLs 91% of the times, indicating low consistency in sourcing. It's having different sources for the same claim doesn't mean that the claims themselves are inaccurate, retard. It's talking about the source, you fucking idiots. You can't even read the freaking screenshot. It's not talking about the accuracy of the information, Jester. Read, you dumbass.
You're talking about reading, but you didn't even read the full screenshot. How
This is actually insane. Like, do you
Apollo
even read
thinks
your own
can there
screenshot
means
before you post the
logically
fucking
possible,
shit
bro.
right now?
Apollo, you're too brain-rotted by philosophy, bro. Can here doesn't mean it's logically
No, you're
possible.
too
It's just
brain
saying
rotted
it
by
is.
fiction debates and to the point you can't even read the basic
You're
screenshot
not
right
even
now.
listening to what I said, bro.
Apollo,
You
the
didn't even hear
issue
what
that
I
you're
said.
having
I'm
here,
talking to Jester right now, so I don't know how
the
you're butting into
issue,
the
yeah, the
conversation.
issue that you're having here, Apollo, is that Google AI believes it could be inconsistent, and there's a screenshot of Google
And I
AI
also agree it can
directly.
be inconsistent. That was
Can you
never a
not cut me
dispute on the
off?
table,
Can you
you
not cut me
moron.
off?
What are you
Can you
talking
not cut me
about?
off?
That's
Can you
not a
not cut me off?
dispute.
Can you
The
not cut me off?
dispute is upon whether
Okay, you're just not gonna cut me off. There's a screenshot in this chat that directly disagrees with your position, and it says the opposite. So either you concede that Google AI is consistent, right, and then you concede your position, or you say it's inconsistent and then you agree with me.
is that Google AI, I'm going to tap it for because you're retarded. So my position is that Google AI is consistently accurate. Now, nothing about this claim is incompatible with it having the possibility of it being inconsistent. There could be one or two cases in which it is
That's
inconsistent,
not what the
and in
screenshot's
most
saying,
cases,
though.
it is going to be accurate consistently. That's
That's not
irrelevant
what
to
the
my point.
screenshot's saying. That's
Secondly,
not what the screenshot's saying.
what the screenshot is saying, Zizo, if you can actually read, is it talking about the point just simply that it has inconsistencies in sources output. It's not talking about the information, you idiot. It's talking about different
What do you
sources
think is
for different
outputting?
claims or the
What are
same
sources
claims.
outputting,
That's different
Apollo?
points.
Apollo, what are sources outputting?
My God, dude, the illiteracy
What
is
are answer
fucking
the
crazy
question?
in
What are
this voice
sources
call.
outputting?
Holy shit.
You're talking about them dodging. You're dodging right now.
Do
What
you
are
know what the
sources
source
outputting?
says? Do you know what the source says?
Yeah, like the sources that
Define the
the AI
source for me
provides.
right now.
What does it output?
Do
I
you
just said it.
define
What
the
does it
source right
output?
now?
You're dodging the
You
question. What
didn't
does
define the
sources
word, you
output?
dodged from the question.
What do
Define
these
what the source
websites
says.
output, Apollo? What do these websites output?
Define what the source is. Stop dodging, Caesar.
Okay, the source is the website or the link that it provides for you, or like
Okay,
because
now
the answer it
which
provides
part
information.
of it presenting different sources
What
indicates
what does it
inconsistencies
output,
in the
Apollo?
information?
Apollo, what does it output, bro?
Answer my question. Which
What does
part
it
of there
output?
being different sources indicates inconsistencies in the information?
That's not what I'm asking you. What does it output?
That's irrelevant to my actual question. Want to try again?
It's
Answer the
super
question.
relevant. I'll explain to you why it's relevant.
It's
What
not
does it
super
output?
relevant to just being a
What
super
does
retard
it
right now
output,
by not answering
Apollo?
my fucking question.
The reason why you don't want to answer my questions because
The
it's
reason why I
obvious
started
that
is because you
sources
know for that's
output
state nonsense
information.
right now, and
Apollo,
you don't know what you're talking about.
sources output information because sources output information. If it's saying
This
that those
guy's
sources are
retarded. Look,
inconsistent,
I'm
that
going to
means
give you one
information is
example.
inconsistent,
If I give you
retard.
two different sources, let's say, for example, I have SCP, for example, and I have IEP. SCP source defines Platonism to be XYZ, and IEP defines it the same way. Technically speaking, there's going to be an inconsistency in the source output because I'm using different sources. But the
That's not what
information
it's
remains
saying.
accurate, retard. That's what I'm saying, which is relevant to the
That's not what
fucking screenshot, you illiterate scumbag. What are you talking about? The
Google
screenshot is
AI
talking about the
summarize
idea of there being
Google AI.
inconsistent sources,
That's not
not
okay.
inaccurate information,
That's
you moron.
that's not how Google AI works. Google AI
What the
summarizes
screenshot? I'm
it's.
gonna repost the screenshot that
Oh my
Jester
god!
posted. We're gonna read this.
Holy
We're
shit,
gonna
this
read
guy's
this.
Real quick.
Walk with me,
Apollo,
okay?
let's just grant
Walk
you
with
the
me,
point. Wait,
okay?
let me just
So
grant you
what the
the point.
screenshot
I'll
says
grant you the
right
point
here,
about the inconsistency.
what the
No, that's fine.
screenshot says right here,
You're granted.
is
You're granted the
technical
point. You're granted
features
the point.
causing
Why are you
inconsistencies.
why is the guy talking to himself? Yo, you're granted the fucking point. Read the fucking scan,
No, I'm
nigga.
not, you idiot. What are you talking about?
Nigga, I'm granting you the point. Just fucking read this shit.
Wait,
It's
free.
your
Why is
own
Politico
thing.
talking?
No,
Am I
your
debating
own
Jester
thing.
or Zizo or
Scholarly
Free to Develop
article
or
indicate that
Force?
people in
Am I
7th
debating
century
Jester
generally
or
counted
Force
age
or
in
Free to
years
Develop? Who is it?
from birth. From birth. Engage with that shit.
Free to
You're
Develop, who am I
granted the
debating?
fucking
You,
Oh my.
source.
Zizo, Force, or Jester? Which one is
Wait,
it?
free. Wait,
Which
wait,
one is
free.
it? Who am I debating?
Forget
Is it
about
the
that shit, bro.
1v4 or 1v1? Which one is it?
Wait, bro,
Nigga,
free.
it's a
Forget
one
about
v
that shit.
one,
I'm
bitch
talking to
ass nigga.
Zizo right now,
Oh,
dumbass. So
okay,
just wait your turn, retard.
Apollo.
So
Google
let me tell
AI.
you here, Zizo.
Google AI summarizes all the sources, right? But it's saying that those sources, their summaries can be inconsistent with what's actually being provided. Do you
How is
understand
this
that?
incompatible with it being consistently accurate? How
Because
so?
the
Tell
word,
me.
because the definition of what inconsistency is doesn't apply to consistency.
Are you fucking stupid? All you're saying there is that it can be inconsistent, and there are cases of it being inconsistent. That does not debunk it being
That's not
consistently accurate.
that's it's not a modal claim. When it says can, it's just talking about the
It is a
normative
modal
sentiment.
claim. Can by definition is a modal verb. What are you talking about, you
You're too
moron?
brain rotted by
What are you
philosophy,
saying?
bro. You're too
It's not a
brain rotted by
philosophical
philosophy.
term, you idiot. If I search the definition of can,
Apollo,
give it the Oxford definition, it's gonna say it's a modal verb.
Your mom comes up to you and she's like,
What are you
Apollo,
even
can I
talking
tell you?
about, dude? Is
Apollo,
can a modal verb in English?
This is what we said.
Your mom
Everybody
pulls
shut up.
up.
Everybody shut up. And before Paulo starts talking, if you start talking, I'm just gonna serve him.
Yeah, sorry, Ziza. This is like basic English language, by the way. This is like even.
Yep. W comprehension of social cues. This is what I'm gonna tell everybody in this call right now. Google AI itself says on screenshot that its AI model is based on statistical probability and it does not have a deep understanding of truth or logic, which leads to Google AI, creating hallucinations and creating plausible sounding, factually incorrect information. And also says on top of it doing that, 91% of the time it gives wrong sources. So definitionally and statistically, Google AI is inconsistent. If you don't respond to that, you can shut the fuck up.
What I'm telling you here, Jester, is I agree, right, that in some cases it is consistent. Does this debunk the idea that it is consistently accurate? Fuck no. You could have 1,000 cases in which like two of those 1,000 cases, something is inconsistent, and the other 998 cases, it is accurate, and would still be consistently accurate. That's irrelevant to the point I was making, you dumbass. My point is simply, in most cases, it is accurate, which is why I said it is consistently accurate. You dumb fuck. You telling me, but it can be consistent, doesn't debunk the consistent trend of it being accurate. You are an imbecile who can't read your own screenshots, your own evidence, because you're a fucking retard. You don't know what you're talking about right now. You look stupid right now.
What's your evidence for it being consistently accurate?
Wait, do you agree that your rebuttal fails? Yes or no?
No, I don't agree.
Wait, so how is it the case that your rebuttal is incompatible with my claim?
That it gives wrong sources 91% of the time, and that it's literally telling you that
That's not what it says in the screenshot, you retard. It says in 91% of the times, present different sources for information. It's
So it
talking
gives
about
you
the
the wrong
sources itself,
source
not the information
for
itself,
the
you
same
idiot.
91%
The
of the time.
information which it outputs, which it deduces from the sources, are different from the sources, you moron. I'll give you an example. So one example is, for example, if, for instance, I've given an example already, if I appeal to Wikipedia to make a philosophical claim, and then you appeal to IEP to make a philosophical claim, those two claims can converge on the same idea and both be accurate, even though the sources are different, therefore demonstrated sources inconsistency. Sources inconsistency is not the same as informational inaccuracy, retard. You can't fucking read.
That's a part of the claim, Apollo. The other part of the
It's not a
claim is
part of the
not
claim, it's
only
irrelevant to the claim.
okay,
You can't
not only
read,
is it
Jester.
giving wrong,
It
not
doesn't
only
say
is
there's
it giving
91%
wrong
of cases
sources, but
are
it's literally
inconsistent, are
telling you that
inaccurate.
it's not
Never
giving
said.
information based on truth or logic. You know that, right?
I'm giving you information based off facts. You're giving me information based off feelings right now.
The Google AI itself says it's not giving you information based off truth or logic. So it creates hallucinations and it gives you factually
Real
incorrect
quickly, you said Google AI is deducing these things based off statistical probability, correct?
Yes.
How is that going to be something which is not a form of deduction?
Google AI recognizes that itself as an inherent limitation to its model.
Is it a form of deduction? Yes or no?
If you're
Answer
conceding
the
that
question.
it's
Yes or
inconsistent.
no? Yes or no, Jester? Answer the fucking
Yeah,
question.
that concedes it's inconsistent. It literally says
The
it's an
answer is
inherent
yes. The
limitation to
answer
the
is
AI.
yes. When it's talking about logic there, you idiots, it's talking about deductive logic, not all forms of logic. Of course, it's going to be invoking some logic to make deductions. Imbecile. That's not debunking the points I'm making yet again. You're not tracking the conversation. This
You're
is
arguing with
embarrassing.
Google AI. You know that, right? You're disagreeing
You're
with
shadow
Google AI.
boxing right now. You know that,
Google
right?
AI is
You're shadow
consistent.
boxing
It
right
doesn't
now.
make any sense. You know, Google AI
Holy fucking
disagrees with your
embarrassment.
position inherently. You're in a bro. You're such a
Yeah,
troll.
you're like saying, "Oh well, Google AI can be inconsistent, therefore point is disproven." That's your wonderful objection, Jester.
You know, Google
Seriously,
AI has a direct
you'd
objection
have
to your
done better if you just did not talk and just left the conversation to forks. Okay, you've done a lot better.
Apollo. Look at the
I'm
screenshot,
listening.
General.
I'm waiting for an actual objection though. So my point about the consistent accuracy of AIs.
Google AI. It literally has a counter position to the position you use as evidence from Google AI.
So now you're changing the topic from whether or not it is going to be something which debunks to be consistently accurate to whether or not my position gets debunked by Google AI from the previous conversation, right?
You're not engaging. You're not understanding the point.
Wait, so are we going to drop the current conversation and move on to a different conversation?
No, Apollo.
The point of dispute me and you had, Jester, is whether or not it is consistently accurate. You tried to disprove that point. You failed like a fucking
Yes,
retard.
I'm
Now you're
showing
trying
you
to
that it
switch
is
the
inconsistent.
conversational scope to you talking about whether or not Google AI is incompatible with a position I have in Islam. That's a different point.
That's not a different point. I'm showing you that
It
it's
is a
inconsistent.
different point. By definition, they are. One point is us disagreeing on consistent accuracy of Google AI. The other point is you saying that Google AI is incompatible with one point I've made outside of the consistent accuracy.
No.
Yes, definitely. What are you talking about?
Okay. I don't care about your debate or your topic. I'm saying that if you Google one thing and Google
Then
AI
why did
tells
you step in to actually address the
okay,
point I made in the debate you
you're
don't
not
care
gonna
about?
cut me off. You're not gonna cut me off. Google AI says one thing in the server, right? It tells you one thing in specific. It says that, oh, it does count from the age of puberty. But if you Google something else, Google AI tells you the direct opposite, meaning it is not consistent. Please stop talking.
Consistently accurate, Jester. My point is that it is consistently accurate. What do you think I mean when I say this consistently accurate? Can you tell me what I mean by this?
Go ahead, tell me.
Let's see if you're understanding the points right now. When I say that Google AI is consistently accurate, what do I mean by this, retard? Tell me.
I'm asking you. Go ahead, explain it to me.
I think you owe it to the audience to prove to me right now and to the audience that you understand the fucking points right now. So explain to me what my point is.
It's giving correct information most of the time.
Okay, now, how is it the case that you pointed at one instance of it being inconsistent if I was to grant that it being consistent, evidence against the position that in most cases it is going to be consistently accurate?
Okay. This is what I'm going to tell you. The answer to your question is the example I gave to you frames that if you tweak the search enough, Google AI will give you the answer that you desire. The reason I'm saying this is because you give it a specific search bar, it gives you the answer that you wanted, but on the other hand, it will literally tell you the direct opposite. And the reason why this is the case is because Google AI has an inherent limitation which allows this to happen to give you factually incorrect statements based off the machine hallucinating. Google AI understands that its own machine could hallucinate and create like very plausible but factually incorrect statements on top of it giving wrong sources for like most of its searches. What about that do you not
Every single
understand?
point you're making here is points that I've already granted and has no impact on my point.
If
I
you
never
grant
disagreed with the idea that there are, in fact, hold on, cause you cried a bunch of
thank
reference
you
a
for
while
your
ago. I
concession,
never
Apollo.
disagreed with the idea that Google AI, or AI as a matter of fact, can develop hallucinations, or rather can give you the answers that you desire. That's obviously an aspect of what's called prompt engineering. Of course, you idiots. No one disagrees on that. However, does this debunk it being consistently accurate? No. There are, in fact, multiple case scenarios in which you try to prompt the AI to say something which you wanted to say and it still disagrees with their position. One example is if you, for instance, try to prompt the AI to make an anti-Semitic message. It's never going to say something anti-Semitic. It's going to always say that this is not something which is compatible with our policies. So just because you can prompt the AI in some cases to say the answers you wanted to say does not automatically mean that in most, if not all cases, in which you prompt the AI to say something you wanted to say, it will agree with you.
It
That
won't
does
say
not follow, and again, it
anti-Semitic
has
because
no
the
impact.
AI is
Again,
very
it has no impact on my overarching point. Do you understand this, Jester? I should have to walk you through this one more
your
time.
anti-Semitic point is a non-point because it just
It's not a
proves that
non-point.
I'm explaining to you why it's a non-point. The AI is
Go
literally
for it.
owned by it's owned by like Israeli sourcers and companies, and they own a part of it. and they make it so that the AI won't say anti-Semitic stuff because Google is backed by like Jerusalem. What about that? Do you not understand?
That's a different point, Jester, which doesn't
That's
attack my
not a
current point.
different point.
My
It's not a
point is
different
just
point.
to establish to you, hold on, real quickly, because remember,
You're
your
using it
argument
as a
against the consistent
counterexample.
accuracy, I know you want to run away, but let me finish the point first, right? So I'm telling you here that your point is to demonstrate why it is not the case that in most cases it is accurate. You appealed to an aspect of prompt engineering, whereas you can prompt the AI to say something you wanted to say or you wanted to agree with. I'm telling you that you saying that this does in fact occur as a real world phenomenon of AI engineering systems does not debunk the idea of the fact that in most cases, or in all cases in which you do this, it will result in an answer you want, right? I've given you one example of you prompting the AI to agree with you, and it still does not agree with you no matter what. So you proving this to me does not establish that so long as you prompt the AI to say X, it won't in fact agree with that. That's another non-point you're making.
It has
This is
nothing
not
to
hard for you
do.
to understand, Jester. I expect better from you, unironically.
That literally has nothing to do with my position.
Do you understand the conversation here? Because I think my point has already been fulfilled and it's been demonstrated to be
If you think your point's
accurate.
been fulfilled, you're just an
Definitely.
idiot. You're not reading anything.
No,
That's all.
let him think. The fact that
Says the
he
guy who
spent
couldn't
this
even check
entire
his own
time running
screenshots and
away.
got exposed for being a retard. Seriously?
The fact that he spent this entire
That's
time
like
running
so
away
ironic.
from engaging with his
I think we're
screenshots
basically
that
done here.
disprove
That's
his
basically it.
position.